Sounds like, hey, but we're gonna take a couple of questions till he got some. Kobe, not LeBron. Oh dang, man, y'all haters, man. All right. Am I still coming in staticky? Somebody asked, screen looks perfect. Volume is good. Kobe, not LeBron. Sounds like Witten Terrace. No, baby, it ain't Witten Terrace. It's Brick City. I'm answering questions everywhere. They said it sounded like that property we had in West was Witten City. All right. Do you want me to be on club? Oh, that's John. I'm here. All right. Glad to be in the zone with some of the baddest real estate. Man, me too, brother. I'm glad to be with some of the big guys too. We got a question over here. Mike, will we have access to the slider deck after? Yeah, sure, why not? How do you insulate a house without tearing down the walls? Oh, are we right there now? Okay. How do you insulate a house without tearing down the wall? Man, they got this new technique now where you actually can drill a hole in between the framing, and they have a spray that you can hook up to, and it'll spray right in there and fill it up. Now you're gonna have to tear up a little bit of drywall, but the way it just fills right up in there. I'll just go to YouTube and watch that. Nate, if he wants to, he can jump in and explain a little more. Another way that they do it without tearing the house, they literally just go in the attic and spray all that insulation into the attic to help to control a lot of that as well. So, to get your insulation pretty good. Okay. So, John, you there?
I'm here, man. The video is going in and out, so I can
All
focus
right,
on the
that's all right,
clubhouse
man.
and
They don't need to
not
see
working
any
as well.
message.
All right.
Where's my pediment? Okay, there you go. You get that. All right, man. I love my new toys. John, so man, tell us all about you, man. Where you from? Where you been doing, man?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I'm originally from Cleveland, so born and raised in Cleveland. Been down in Cincy for the last year and a half. I was in Chicago for 8 years before that, and growing our portfolio. So I mean, our business is Casmon Capital Group, where we work with other investors and help them acquire and be a part of larger apartment deals. So we got holdings out in Texas, Florida, the Carolinas, and locally here in Cincinnati, and continue to grow.
That's great, man. That's great. That's great. And so, man, what are you doing now? What deals are you working on now, man?
We got a deal that we've been working on for a minute. It's a HUD deal, the HUD loan. So that just takes a little bit longer than your traditional Fannie Freddie loan or your bridge debt. So that one's taking a little bit, but that one's in the pipeline, and we're excited to bring that one to the fold. And then outside of that, we've been putting in offers left and right. So we have around 900 units in our portfolio right now. We're actually getting ready to sell and re-up. So our
Oh,
plan right
wow.
now is the market's been hot. We've had a lot of our portfolio for the last, 3-4 years. And with so much demand, especially in some of these hot growth markets like Texas, we're actually getting ready to just put some of that stuff on the market, sell, and then, try to buy something that'll put us in a good position over the next 5 to 10 years.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. So, man, tell us, John, how you got started. Like, what made you jump into this multi-unit? I mean, if I remember correct, you were in corporate America,
Hmm.
and then next, you made this leap.
Yeah. So, I mean, it starts with really having a vision. And I think anybody listening to us right now, you have to understand where you're at in your life and where you want to go. And corporate America was kind of the vision that I was sold, right? It's like go out, get a great job, you work that job, and eventually you retire. You retire with a pension, you retire with a 401k, and you ride off into the sunset. And I remember being a young exec in Detroit working at General Motors. And this is around 2007, 2008, 2009. So those of you who, were paying attention around that time, you kind of know where I'm going. But this company that was too big to fail started to go through some financial issues. And as we started going into bankruptcy, we had round and rounds and rounds of layoffs. And what became real clear to me was that it didn't matter how good of an employee I was. It didn't matter. And none of that stuff mattered. I was expendable. I was a number. I was a cog in the wheel. So ultimately, I realized that in order to really take control of my life, I was going to have to find ways to make money outside of a W 2. I turned to real estate. mainly because it was one of those things that if you can do basic math, you can invest in real estate. Now, when you start scaling and doing all the stuff we're talking about, certainly there's more complexity to it. But at its core, it's just really math, right? You're trying to look at the income, you're looking at the expenses, and you're going to expect a certain value or return based on that. So I started turning real estate. I bought a 2-unit building to start. I lived in one unit, rented out the other. Heard you talk about the BRRRR model before. That's exactly what we did. Lived in one unit, rented out the other, made a lot of money on that property. I used some of that, bought a 3-unit building, and then I bought an 8-unit building. Now we're using all of our own money at this time while I was still working my W-2 job. And essentially, it was that moment where I realized, you know what? I think this is what I really want to do. I want to focus on growing a real estate portfolio, but not just for me. I want to help other people do the same thing. So it was around that time I kind of made the shift, started to scale up and grow. And around 2000, 19 or so, 18, 19, I left corporate America to go full time in real estate.
That's nice, man. That's nice. That's nice. And then, man, now so you joining us, man, and now we're helping these students achieve amazing things. John's coming on, and like it's been an amazing ride. Like I'm watching. It's kind of like, man, I want to get that far, but it's like watching my kids grow, man. I'm seeing people that really didn't have the experience, and then 90 days later, they raised, 100 grand. Some raised 2 million. Some raised 3.5 million. Somebody else raised 9 million. They're analyzing deals. Matter of fact, they used to just, and John, you know it, like, man, we would talk to people and like, hey, man, send us a deal, send it over. And they didn't do any analysis and just sent you the deal. I was like, yo, man, what? I don't want to look at that. Like, what you got here? But now they breaking it down, and they may make some minimal mistakes, but they finding deals that's doing over 2x, which is really good. Now, me personally, I like deals that do 3x. That gets me all warm and fuzzy and excited. So those are kind of deals I look at myself. But John, where you see yourself going? What's your next goal here, man?
Yeah, listen, man, I think what you're talking about is exactly the opportunity. It's something where it's about the win, 1 + 1 = 3, not just, 2. And ultimately what it comes down to is, working with people like yourself and helping, the students that we're working with, we're able to help everybody. They're able to get into real estate, they're able to find deals, help bring capital, and get experience while having a partnership and having people in their corner that are more experienced, that have the savvy, that can help them stay out of troubles, especially in a time like now where the market's a little bit unsettled. It's not quite clear, what's going to happen in the future. So if you are a beginner and you're coming in today, it may be a time where you're a little concerned. So for us, as far as where we're going, it's really about building those relationships, networking and multifamily in particular. It's a team sport. You have to have a team. You have to have people in your corner that you can grow with. So for us, it's always about building, expanding, and growing. So we've continued to build our investor database. We have a lot of investors that are eager for the next opportunity. We have coaching clients that we work with, helping them get ready to get in the game and start building wealth. And we're always
That's right.
working on deals, trying to find those next deals and opportunities to grow and build our portfolio. I think one thing that's really important is making sure that we are ready to go from a standpoint of really growing everything that we're doing moving forward, as a team, as a collective,
That's
because
right.
you have a lot of people right now, when we talk about the economy, there are a lot of people right now that are concerned that we're about to start facing inflation. And not to
Mhm.
get deep into economics, but on a high level, what happens is the value of the dollar may decrease going forward if we get hit with inflation.
That's right.
If that happens, you want your money in hard assets that will appreciate. Because if you are invested in real estate, then that real estate's actually going to be more valuable because the dollar has decreased in value. That's real
That's right.
complex and it may be confusing, but the bottom line is this. If if you can buy bread today for $3, 5 years from now, that same loaf of bread might cost you $5.
Hmm.
So the same thing with real estate. Real estate today might cost you, let's just say, $1 million deal. Well, that same piece of real estate 5 years from now might be a $2 million deal, even if you do nothing to it. Wouldn't you rather have your money in the real estate if it's going to appreciate based on inflation,
That's
or
right.
have it in cash sitting in your bank account where now you have $1 million, but that $1 million doesn't buy the same kind of value that it would have bought before? It's the same thing if you had $1 million 50 years ago. You had $1 million 50 years ago, you could buy a whole lot of things.
That's
And then
right.
we're assuming $1 million 50 years from now probably won't buy you very much, because inflation is probably going to continue at that rate. So if you look at it historically, you want to have your money in hard assets that appreciate over time. That way you can stay ahead of the game. And real estate is the biggest inflation fighter for a lot of people. There's so many other benefits when it gets into the taxes. But just trying, I mean, my role is really just to help people understand this. I know it could be scary. It could be concerning for folks trying to get in, but doing nothing is the worst thing you can do.
Oh yeah.
Take advantage of the resources around you. You're listening to us talk right now. You don't have to even be the expert yourself. You could come in as a passive investor. You could come in and get coaching and get support. There's a lot of ways to get into the game, but you have to take action. And I think that's the biggest thing is, listening, educating yourself, figuring out how you want to play this game, but making sure you actually get in the game.
That's right. Oh man, get in the game. That's everything, man. I mean, just this appreciation is a big thing, man. Like I get a lot of questions now because all these prices are going up. I like to see what you think, but because interest rates decreased, naturally the single family houses market it's skyrocketed. But even not only just single family, the multifamily, the prices are, like in Cincinnati, well, the Midwest, we were literally just like seemed like yesterday at a 7.5, 8 cap. And today, if you have a multi-unit in a C area with density, meaning you got more than 50, maybe 100 units, you could see a 5.5, 6 cap return. I mean, it's ridiculous. So people are like, man, do I still buy? Well, yeah, you buy, you just got to adjust. You just don't buy anything. You adjust what you're doing on that. But do you think we're going to see a correction, or our correction is now the new normal? What do you think, John? I don't really know what to tell people. I'm still saying, hey, it's people always say, it's not a good time to buy, or is it a good time? It's always a good time to buy. It's just you got to adjust for the market. What do you think? I mean, because everybody thought during this pandemic we were going to see a landslide.
Yeah.
Only landslide we really seeing it is in the hotels. But what's crazy is I'm picking up on those, but you're not really seeing it in the open market. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I think you're spot on, man. When everything started happening last year, I know what I did. I know a lot of people did the same thing. We kind of paused, right? We tried to understand what's happening here, what's about to happen. And it's twofold to that. One was, hey, we got to protect our current portfolio. Let's make sure we're being proactive, making sure we're doing what we can to keep tenants paying, to keep our operations moving. And then as we look forward to opportunity, people started licking their chops, expecting there to be, want to call it blood in the streets. You want to say, having your dry powder ready, all the terms people throwing around. But the bottom line is you wanted to start being prepared for the opportunities. Here's the thing that no one factored in: how the government would respond. And when the government started kicking in money and printing trillions of dollars and handing it out and stroking checks and doing the PPPs and all of that stuff, what that did was it allowed the economy to at least stay flat and keep moving. I mean, you look at the stock market. Listen, if the stock market didn't drop in a global pandemic, you know what I mean? Like, not just the recession, we're talking a global pandemic, and everything kind of kept moving. So I think what you have to do, at least from my standpoint, is you need to proceed with caution. You need to recognize where we're at, what's going on with the economy, but sitting on the sidelines is just going to leave you further behind. If you're expecting everything to drop and come back down, you might be right. You might be, but you're guessing at this point. The way we see the economy moving, the way we see everything taking place, the reality is that things are going to continue to progress, and there's more of a threat that inflation is going to kick in and those prices are going to shoot way up over the next 5 years, then prices dropping significantly. And the reason too is this is a global issue, meaning that Chinese investors, Australian investors, Canadian investors, everybody around the world is looking for the best place to put their money. And more people made money last year during this pandemic than prior to that. I read a stat yesterday and it said that I believe that Americans had around 800 billion in checking accounts last year and or prior to the pandemic, and now there's 1.8 trillion. So they basically made 100 trillion. They more than doubled what they had in their checking account. This is one of those things where again the haves get more and the have-nots get less. So the folks who have money keep getting more, especially when you get the PPP loans and all of this stuff. So again, you have investors around the world looking for places to put their capital, and they love U.S. real estate for the same reasons we talked about before. If they don't trust their governments in their own countries, they're going to take out that cash, get whatever they can get, and those cats don't care about your 7 to 8% Cincinnati cap rates and what they feel the market should be. They're trying to park their money to save it. They're looking at fighting inflation. So you can't compete with that. If you're sitting around waiting, you're gonna be waiting a long, long time.
move on to our BRRRR moment here. We're going to talk about some different things with BRRRR. Let me click this on. You got to turn that down up this F1 on the bottom. There we go. View. And let's see. There we go. Okay, I'm good now. Can you hear? Okay. All right. Man, so much is going on here. Here we go. Am I still sharing? All right. Sorry, guys. We getting back in here. There we go. All right. The problem is a real estate where investor will save up 20% for a down payment for a property, but it will take them time before the investor can buy a new property, man. So, what is this? What we're talking about? What is the BRRRR? All right. You got this money, you save up, and then, what are you going to do? Once you buy your first deal, you're stuck. The BRRRR can solve this problem for you, man. If you implement this, it allows one to recycle the money and grow it to buy more real estate deals. Because you use this, you'll continue to upgrade. Now, what is BRRRR? Simply this: you buy, right? That's the first B. Then you rehab it, enabling you to increase the rent and value. Then you increase the values. When you increase the value, it allows you to refinance. And your original investment, and refinance your original investment out of the deal plus more. And then what you do, you repeat. You now got enough cash to buy another property. That's the BRRRR, baby. Buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat. Now, how to succeed with the BRRRR, man, you gotta buy right, man. You gotta buy the deal right. Now look, some of you just buying 30% below the performance value or after repair value, that may be just enough. That may be just enough, but we like to buy them even cheaper. All right. Here's an example that we got here. Let's say you got example ARV minus, you got an ARV of $100,000. You got repairs of $20,000. So what you do, so right now, what you do is you offer 70% of that $100,000, right? 70% of that $100,000 because you want to do at least 30% below the market value, right? So 100,000. Well, if you get it at 70,000, man, what in the world do y'all got here? 100 minus 20 equal 50. I don't know that, man. I'm sorry here. The bottom line, I think you get it. Okay, I got what you're saying. If you buy it below, it's just missing the thing. You offered 70, right? 70%, meaning you offered it 70, then deduct the amount of repairs it needs. That means you need to get this thing for $50,000. That's what it's trying to say here. So, all right, so look, you got $100,000, it's worth $100,000. You got to at least get it below market value, which is 70, right? But then you deduct the repairs that need to be done. That took you to $50,000. So that's what you would offer them on that deal. Now, to succeed with BRRRR, you got to renovate cost efficiently and fast, right? You got to do it fast. Because if you wait too long, right, you got interest costs, you got insurance you paying, you got well, the two big things are each is your interest, insurance, taxes, utilities. All these fees are adding up, and the longer you keep working with your contractor, I promise you, they'll come up with more stuff to bill you for, right? And so that's one of the good things. You need good contractors, right? You want to work with people that you have a good relationship with, or that you feel you can grow a relationship. And look, you want to manage that renovation process and the contract so it gets done on time. And you need to have extra cash for any over budget, right? Sometimes, look, I mean, look, we can budget for deals. Like, for example, even when you rehabbing your bathroom, right? Let's say, oh, I'm gonna rehab my bathroom, and if you, let's say you're just doing the basics, that's a $5,000 repair. But look, you all of a sudden you get into it and you did realize, oh man, I got to replace all the copper in here. You know, oh, I got to run more electric in there. Well, that's going to push your estimate up. So that's why whenever you do a budget, we like to put a 10% budget on top of it. So when we have a hard number on our construction, we mark it up another at least 10% to cover any overages that we may miss. All right. And then after you renovate, man, you got to lease it. And in order to do that, man, you need to find either do it yourself, but once you get to so many units, I think when you get to about 20 units, you really need to bring in somebody that can help you. Unless unless you kind of doing it per job, you know, you got it structured that somebody can manage it for you. But you at 20 units, you're going to have to manage some of that aspect of yourself. But once you get to over 20 units, it's going to take up a lot of your time in order to do that. That's why we encourage you to get a property manager who can be good with your tenants and manage the property as well. There's multiple ways of handling that, but you know, I think you're going to have to get that property based on a fee base instead of a full-time base, because you're not generating enough income to pay for that property manager. But once you start this BRRRR and you start repeating, now you're gonna have enough money to hire you a property manager, right? And to succeed with BRRRR, you know, you need a good lender. Now, I already told you, well, let me finish this. Let me finish this. You need a good lender and a good financial strategy to pull out your cash from the deal as soon as possible so you could do another deal. Look, man, you don't want that money sitting in there 3 or 4 or 5 years. Get that money out and go do another one. Repeat, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Repeat. All right. Nope, they didn't get it. They didn't get it. Yeah, there you go. I love my horns right there. Man, you want to repeat, man. And that, you know what? I already told you about a property manager. You always want your phone ringing. You always need a property manager. Oh, that's my phone.
It looks like we lost him.
No, I'm here. I'm here. We got all these gadgets and the phone was ringing. My bad. We're gonna have to uptake this technology, man. Hey, so no, one of the good things is you got to find a lender to keep you going, right? Because as soon as you have that, you want to repeat again. Now, as I was saying, I already said the property manager, already the lender, already said the contractor. I think you're starting to get it. You need, even with the BRRRR, you're going to need a good team. You need a good team. Like I shared with my people last week, man, even Jesus Christ had 12 disciples, baby. Even him had 12 disciples. So you got to have a squad, man. You got to have some people. You got to have your title company, right? You got to have your contractor. Get with your bank. Let them know what your goal is, right? And then get into the game here, all right? Here's an example, and let's see if this works. I'm going to share with you. God, dog it. Turn my audio. Hit the switch. No, it's just coming through, man. I don't know why. I need, you know what? I need to turn the other mode on. All right, I'm gonna show you an example here of, huh? Oh, that's what I need. Yeah. I'm gonna show you an example of one of these deals that we did. So let me back out of here. Moving slow. Here we go. Here we go. And here, I'm going to share with you an example of a BRRRR. All right. Some of you'll see this, some of you'll hear it. All right, here we go. You ready? Here's an example of a 36 unit. Here we go.
Man, there's multiple techniques in real estate, but I still love the BRRRR, baby. Man, this multi-unit's what, 36 units we bought. We bought it, and then we immediately rehabbed it. Took us a couple of months to rehab it, put about 300,000 in it. We purchased it for.
Let me do that one more time. Some of you can't see it here. There we go. Let's try it this time. All right, one more time. All right, for those of you joining us, you can see this actual video.
Man, there's multiple techniques in real estate, but I still love the BRRRR, baby. Man, this multi-unit's what, 36 units we bought. We bought it, and then we immediately rehabbed it. Took us a couple of months to rehab it, put about 300,000 in it. We purchased it for 500,000. I'm around the numbers off. So purchased it for 500, put 300 in it. And then after we rehabbed it, we rented and we pushed the rents. We went from about 350, 450 for the ones and twos, all the way up to 700 to 900. Man, we killed it on it. Then after we rehabbed and rented it, then we refinanced it. That's right, we refinanced it and we pulled out $1.2 million, put over 400,000 in our pocket, paid our investors off. And guess what? Repeat, baby. That's right, we did it again. Man, I feel like LeBron, man. I got 3 rings, maybe 4. I'm going for 4 rings, baby. Look, you just keep doing it over and over again. Apartment Investing Secrets. Join the Facebook group and BRRRR, baby. We here for you, baby. Talk to you.
Hey, so sharing it with you, man. Look, we, like I said, man, in that deal, we bought it for roughly 400,000, 500,000, put 200 in it. Right? Is that right? 300, almost 300 in. I'm around these numbers off. We put 300 in it. So we all in for 800. It appraised for $2 million. It appraised for $2 million. We refinanced it for 1.2. We were in it for 800. So we pulled 400,000 out at closing. That went to us. We paid our investors off at the 800. And we still have, what is that, $1.2 million worth of equity. And that's how you do the BRRRR. And then you take that 400 and you do another deal. Now, look, some of you guys in the West Coast, the East Coast, Northeast, man, look, you guys can do that with single families. You can get the same returns with them $700,000, $800,000 houses that you could rent, rehab. I mean, I don't care if you're in the Midwest. I don't care if you're in Florida. I don't care where you're at. You all can do this, man. Look, man, like I said, we broke it down. I showed you that estimate 400, 300,000. Here's the great thing. The rent was low. The rent was really, now the one thing I love about multifamilies is the rent, as long as you can push the rent up and you can increase the net NOI, you can create more value. Now, unlike a single family, that's really based on what the value is in that area. For example, if you move into this neighborhood, you know, everybody paid $250,000 to $300,000 for the house. That's kind of the market. But with multifamilies, you can be in that area, but if you can create substantial rent and you divide it by the market cap rate, you can create a value of, you know, $1 million being in that neighborhood like that. And so one of the things was, we pushed the rents from $350, $450, all the way up to $900 a unit. So, I mean, it's great turn. Now let's break down the buy. Why did we buy it? We knew we could increase the rents. The 1-bedrooms rent for $395, 2-bedroom units was rent for $450, $495. If we increased the rents at an average $200 a month, it created a pro forma value of $1.2 million. Now, how do we get that? Let's just do an average of that. That's $550 a month, right? Times 36 units, times 12, minus 50% of expenses. You divide that by a 10 cap, That's 1.1 or 1.2 million. Now look, ain't nothing selling at a 10 cap right now. Am I right? Ain't nothing selling at a 10 cap. Everything's selling at what, about a 5 or 6. And look, we were all in at 814. We came in at 68% of the pro forma value. I mean, very conservative. How did we finance it? We were able to negotiate. Now look, when we first did the deal, I'll talk about owner financing. We got owner financing on this deal because we told them, like, look, man, this neighborhood is not that great. And so we negotiated. They financed $325,000 at 4.5% with a 3-year balloon. 3-year balloon meaning we got to pay them completely off in 3 years. We didn't go to the bank. We raised $400,000 for private investors. And look, a no money down deal. Did it take money to do the deal? Yes. Did it come from my pocket, your pocket? No. We went out and raised money from private investors, and that's how we were able to do this deal. Now let's break down the rehab here. Let me scoot this screen up. We spent $275,000 or $7,600 a unit. We put in new asphalt to the driveway parking lot. We replaced all the windows, which reduced our heating costs. Remember, I showed you that example earlier where people didn't really think putting in new windows made a big difference. And now the rest of the building was hot. Well, we put in new heating unit, new windows, which reduced our heating costs because we were on boilers. We gutted all the bathrooms, replaced them with lower water shower heads and toilets, meaning, you know, those quick flushes that, you know, what, a gallon, it keeps you under a gallon every time, right? Which controls a lot of your costs. We installed new flooring in the kitchens, laminate that look like hardwood. Look, you ain't always got to go high end with all that. Man, they got this new laminate out, man. You can just lay it down. And then a lot of people going with that gray color, man, that's all you need. We replaced the carpets, especially the ones that were stained really bad and we couldn't clean it up. And we also replaced all the light fixtures with LED. Now that's Nate's thing. He'll tell you all about that in kilowatt hours. He'll come break that down. But the bottom line, it reduced your cost. And see, here's some before and after. You can see where this kitchen was. We kept the kitchen same, kind of same design, but we just put flooring in there. We had some places that had wood floors. If we could sand the floors down, we did. If not, we just covered it with carpet. The bathrooms, as you can see here. Oh, sorry about that. Let's see. Oh. Let me see here, man. There we go. We're going everywhere. The bathrooms, man, we some, if it already had tile and it was good, working good, we replaced the tile. And then we just replaced the fixtures, you know, the ones that got 3 different nozzles, you know, we replaced them. And some of those we take all the way out. I'm no on Instagram. I know you can't see anything. That's for our Facebook group. God dog it, man. Man, we gotta get a new phone. Can't do it from my phone no more. And look, let's break down the rent. We increased the rent average from $412 a month to $805, while simultaneously increasing the occupancy from 57% to 95% occupancy. We tripled the rental income and doubled the NOI. That's what the whole game is about. Let's break it down. Here's show you numbers. The value. Now, how do you determine the value? You determine the value by the NOI divided by the cap rate. So the NOI that we were bringing in was $15,000 a month. And then you multiply that times 12. Then you divide that by a 9 cap. And that's how we created a $2 million value. You see how important it is to push them rents? Some of you was like, man, I don't want to increase the rents because I don't want my tenant to leave. Man, push the rents, you create more value. And our appraisal came back over $2 million, right? And then here's the other thing. We didn't even push for the refi. We just did a 60% loan to value. 60% of that $2 million. That made the banks even happier. We didn't get greedy and go after 70, 80% loan to value. We just did 60% and we still pulled out the money. And look, man, here, we got proof in here and I'll show with everybody. It was showing you everything, right? You everything. We'll put that on Facebook. And man, what was so great about that? That was a weekend that Nate and I walked away with, I think we had $2 million that weekend, or was it 1.2, 2 million? I can't remember. Well, we paid off investors 400,000, kept 800,000. What is this right here? Yeah, we did over 2.3 in that one weekend. So that's why some of you can't see it, but that's why I had that big old Kool-Aid smile on my face, man, because we killed it that week, man. So that was really exciting. And look, man, once you do it once, repeat, baby. And we did it again. We found 128 units in Westwood. We utilized some of that cash and bought another deal. I used it to, now we partner with people, and I think our portion, me and Nate's portion was what, 250 each, I guess, something like that. No, it was 300 grand. 300 grand. Well, I'll get into that, but really, do we have to go raise money? No, because we just had 400,000. We put that money in the deal, and that was it, man. Hey, look, man, if you want me to coach, if you're looking for coach or partner on deals, man, email me at mike@nassauinvest.com. That's Mike, M-I-K-E, at Nassau, N-A-S-S-A-U, invest, I-N-V-E-S-T-S.com. Email me about deals. Now, we're going to get Nate back in here, and we're going to take some questions here. Let me go out here. I'm going to stop this screen. I got some people over here on my, glad to be in the building. What do you think? Okay, one of the questions from anonymous attendee. What do you think about buying properties out of state? And do you need lenders from state to state to fund those deals? So what do you think about doing deals out of state? When you're ready and you're comfortable and have some magnitude, man, go for it. But the biggest thing is making sure you have the right team. If you don't have the right team, it's not possible, man. Like, I got deals that I'm doing in Florida now, and I bought notes in Kentucky. I'm in Cincinnati, and I bought notes in Kentucky. I've done deals in Tennessee. I've done deals in California because I knew the deal and I was educated. So once you feel educated and you have the right team, man, without a doubt, go for it. Now, your other question was about the loans. Do you need to have, what is it? What did you say here? Do you need lenders from state to state? Some places you will. Now, multifamily, not so much. Like, now, if you want to work with a local bank, now your local bank may stay in certain regions, right? For example, we got one bank that we work with really closely. Give shout out to GE Credit Union. GE only will do loans like on Indiana, Kentucky, and Ohio, and they only go so far, right? But after that, they won't go out of those boundaries. So yes, you may need another lender from different states. Now, if you work with some of the larger brokers or lenders, like we do multifamilies with a group called BRRRR. BRRRR is nationwide, and they actually fund the deal before they sell it to Fannie Mae or to get, as a mortgage-backed security before they sell it off. So they actually do the deal first, fund it. So in that regard, no, you may not have to. But when you're doing a development, again, you may be able to work with certain insurance companies that you have a relationship. But everyone, every bank is different. If you're trying to stick with a small local bank, yes, you're probably going to have to find another lender. All right. We got Joe Cox. Since most, if not all, central banks are printing new money now to float their economies, will inflation not stay relative flat from a results of monetary policy standpoint? Hey, man, that sounds like a really educated question. I mean, the bottom line, well, no, I mean, right now you see an inflation right in front of your eyes. The bottom line is, as long as rates continue to decrease, values will continue to increase. As long as you see other other countries, banks producing negative interest, they're gonna be out there forcing their money. They ain't gonna bury their money. They're gonna be out there pushing their money to put it in the asset. And here's the thing, they're gonna pay a premium because they want an asset that will sustain its value. They want something to sustain its value, and that's why values will continue to increase. I mean, and not only that, worldwide, like I got China investors from China, like I mentioned before. They just want to put their money in secure asset because they're dealing with different governments, right? The ones who can afford it, so they'll pay a premium, just what they call capital preservation. You have plenty of people that have tons of money, and nowhere to put it. They need people like you. They need people to do the BRRRR, baby. They need people to invest, and they want people to place their capital for them. So yes, I don't think inflation will stay flat. I think it's going to increase right in front of your eyes. And once we come out of this pandemic, I think it's going to jump even more because you're going to have what you call a demand. That's not the right word, but you're going to have this demand, pent up demand is what I'm looking for, because right, everybody's really not out. They're not buying as much. They're not spending as much, but they're still spending. But what's going to happen is once people feel comfortable traveling, they're or going out, they're going to be spending more in the restaurants, right? They're going to spend more at the grocery store. They're going to spend more at different venues. And what's going to happen? All of a sudden, everybody's going to need all these supplies. But guess what? The manufacturers ain't been open because they've been closed because of the pandemic. And so they can't produce. So they'll be like, man, I need this. Well, if you want me to produce it, I need to pay these people. Well, here's, I'll pay you more. And that's what happens. It starts that effect, that domino effect. They paying more to get these people back in to start working, to start production. And that drives the cost. Because once your manufacturing costs go up, the retail people got to charge more, right? It's just like a minimum wage. Now they talking about pushing minimum wage to $15 an hour. Well, the business owners aren't going to eat that cost. They're going to pass it on to the transit traveler. They're going to pass it on to the customer.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Not just they're going to pass it on, guys, but when you run a business, you run it off margin. So if something costs me, $10 more, I'm not going to pass it on at $10. I'm going to pass it on at, whatever my margins are. My margins might be 10% or 15 or 20%. So that means I'm going to pass that $10 at 12. And that creates inflation. And that's why you want to own assets, because the rich will get richer. And go back and study the late 70s, the early 80s. We had massive inflation, and the government needs inflation right now to inflate their way out of debt. So I'll let you take back over, Mike. But I just wanted to tell you, man, it's coming.
Keep it better. Are you in Philly? No, I'm not. I'm looking at my. All right, just make sure I didn't have any questions over there. So look, man. Now we're taking questions. Anybody want to do any questions here? Well, I think somebody else had something else. I can see it in Zoom. I'm going to stay in Clubhouse. Mark, I'm teaching. In your teaching course, do one need to have an excellent credit and a large bank account to get the deal done? No, you don't. No, you don't need credit, man. Man, look, when I first started, I didn't have no credit. But what you do need is the desire and the drive to push it and a goal. You wholesale now in San Francisco, never a multi-unit, multi-level. So is there a bigger, large learning curve from structuring small deals to large deals? Without a doubt, there's a learning curve, and no matter what you do, right? In doing real estate, especially larger deals, there is a learning curve because they speak a different language. So one of the things, like for example, when you're doing single family houses, you'll hear people talk more about cash on cash return. You're not going to hear cap rates too often unless you're buying a bulk. Let's say you're buying like 50 something houses. You'll hear that. But if you're just doing one house, they're not talking about cap rate. You may hear your contractor give you a price and per square foot, but when you get in a larger deal, everything is discussed in square foot. You get into IRR, internal rate of return. They're looking at projected value. So the big thing is the language changes. I never forget when I got my CCIM, before I got my CCIM. Look, literally, I was on the phone talking to big hedge fund groups, and they like me, but they didn't want to give me no money. And I didn't understand. Well, I could understand why, because I really had never did a big deal, but I knew the numbers, but I could not speak in their language. In essence, even though we speak in English, and I wasn't speaking Ebonics. Man, we were speaking English, man, and I was like, they was like, well, tell me why you think I'm losing the deal, or why this is a great deal. And I simply just said the basics. My man Jim did the same deal, but it was 300 or 400 units, and he sold it for a markup and got a similar return. Man, when you get into large deals like that, don't nobody want to hear that. They want to hear, like, tell me about the economics in the area. Well, it has this much in traffic count, meaning literally so many thousands of cars pass through everywhere. Then they want to know the area. Well, in a quarter mile radius, a mile radius, a 5 mile, they have this much income to spend. And you have, like the average family household makes 60, 70, 80,000 a year. What are the economic drivers? Well, you have all these different jobs. You got a Ford plant, you got a hospital, you got this, you got a business, you got a corporation right there. They start talking, and then they're like, well, what's my return? What's my rate return? And until you understand that lingo, a lot of people won't deal with you. Not that they not gonna listen, but they won't take you as serious. But as soon as I got my CCM, or at least I took the course, man, them closed doors was open, baby. They opened right up, like let's do a deal, because I knew what I was talking about, and they could understand in the same language that we were speaking the same language. So, is there a big difference? Yes. You'll have a headache, but if you you get a little headache for a minute, but it's not difficult. And then it's really just like when you learn in a new language, you got to be around people that speak in the same language. Like, even though I took that course and I spent $15,000 on that course, man, I learned so much. But because I wasn't surrounded by people that were doing the same thing, I really didn't get to practice doing deals or analyzing deals. But look, even before those numbers, I knew what a deal was. By taking this course, I was able to confirm it with data. That's the big thing. When you get in these big deals, they want a lot of data. And when you have that data, that's when you know you got some great deals there. So that's it. What is CC? It's actually CCIM, Certified Commercial Investment Member. That's a national platform where you can learn all these different, whether you want to learn about $1 million deal or $1 billion deal, this is what they talk about. This is what man, I'm telling you, it changed my life. I'm not even it now. Now it changed my life to help me lose money too. I never forget I did a deal, but I had my opportunity to get a $70 million development. And for those of you who've been following, you know that I had the opportunity to $70 million development. I had this $1 billion company as a partner, and I had another person, and I lost the deal, fell apart. I lost over 300,000 on the deal, on money I didn't have. On money I didn't have. And wait a minute, you know what? I'm gonna hold that. I'm gonna hold that for a second. CCIM. Well, I'm gonna come back. Now remember, I said money I didn't have, and then my man Nate. All right, partnership. I'm gonna come back to that. So, but it allowed me to get in the room because I was speaking the same language. I could talk about feasibility. I could talk about the economics. And with the economics, I could tell you what needed to be in that area and what people will spend on. And I met the biggest developer around. My partners had a lot of money. I was with what else was that? What else I had? But anyway, what happened out of that, even though that development fell apart, I lost money. Guess what? I met a partner. And that's my group now, the hotel group I work with, Commonwealth, which we now formed a group. We JV'd and formed a group, the hospitality group. So even though I lost a couple of $100,000 that I didn't have to lose, even though I lost that, I gained a partnership, and now we're making millions of dollars. Man, you can learn from your failures. Like I said, man, you're gonna make some mistakes, but you can learn from your failures, man. So, don't be afraid to fail. Now let's talk about partners. You want to talk about a partner, and Nate, you on here, man. It really didn't hit me, man, but like, I'm actually paying off my investor. I had an investor that was with me for years, man. Even during the Great Recession, because of him, he's one of the reasons why I did really well. I mean, it's a guy that just, hey, Mike, I'll call him, Tom, I need 100 grand, 200 grand, not a problem. Wire it tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow, brother. Don't worry about it. Didn't even really, the first 1 or 2 deals, he kind of asked questions, but after that, he didn't even care. Just send me my paperwork, give me documents, secure me to the property or the operating agreement, I sent it. Well, I owed my man some money on that deal I lost. Because look, that's one thing we're proud of. I don't care how the deal goes, we pay our investors back. That's not their problem. That's our problem. Now, that's another story. We'll get into that. You can't guarantee that you'll when you get in larger deals, you can't necessarily guarantee. But one of the main things, we pride ourselves in paying our investors back. I don't care what happens. You don't want to lose credit with your investors. Now, the bank, that's another story. All right. You squirm your way out of that bank, but don't squirm out of paying that investor. All right. But my man, Nate, man, I was like, man, I owe my man like 150 grand and God bless me, make me a lot of money. I could have wrote that check, but my man, Nate, was like, hey man, no, man, that's our problem. We got to handle that together. Now, Nate wasn't even in on that deal. He wasn't even in on that deal. He said, man, no, man, take one of our houses free and clear. Let's, raise capital for that, pay our investor off, and then we'll sell that house and we'll make that money back, and don't worry about it, man. Man, that's what I'm saying, man. When you got a partner, a friend, a brother like that, man, that's when you go to battle, man. That's what you want, man. That's what you want, man. So that's when some of you ask, well, why not just take anybody's money, man? Because you're gonna come through some issues. That was the issue I can handle. But man, when you got you a partner to roll with you like that,
roll, dog.
My man.
Let's go.
Let's go, son.
Let's go. Man, when you got synergy, man, when you got 2 or 3 or 4 people, man, we can go out and do anything, man. Mike, we about to buy like, man, I don't even know, $600, $700 million worth of properties this year. And Mike over here talking about 150. I said, man, I don't want to hear about that, man. Take that house we got. We own it free and clear. It's worth about 300 grand. Just go borrow 150 to pay that man off. That's it.
That's it, man. So you learn 2 things here, man. Take care of your investor, no matter what. And man, get you a good partner, man. But that cat's more than a partner, man. That's my brother right there, man. I appreciate it, man. But hey, man, I ain't gonna go there, man. But that's my man. That's my man. So look, man. Somebody asked again, what is CCIM? I don't know if they're asking if the website. Literally, you can go to ccim.org. C as in cat, C as in California, I as in Ivory, M as in Michael.org. CCIM, man, it's great. It'll teach you how to analyze deals. Or now here's the thing, you'll pay $10, $12, $15,000 for all those courses, and it's great, and you'll be recognized. Or you can hack your way in and take our big deal hacking system. We have a mastermind class, which we call the big deal hacking, where you can learn all about real estate, how to analyze deals, how to be a passive investor, how to be an active investor. Okay, I got you. How to be an active investor. What else? How to raise capital. Oh my gosh. When you're talking about raising money, man, I'm gonna share a little game with y'all, man. First of all, I'm hating on my students. I'm hating on them, sons of biscuits, man. Them sons of biscuits are my students. Tim Vest, if you listening out there, and you Annie, and who else out there? George Fry, all you guys, you get on my Maddie, get on my nerves. Why? Because me and Nate, I'm gonna tell you what, me and Nate, we were spoiled, man. Well, not spoiled, we worked our way, but we got in a comfortable place. And we had one investor that had like $5 million. And at any given time, he probably had $2.5 million with us. And he was another guy that we'd be like, hey, I need some money. Now, every once in a while, he'll question it, but for the most part, he always just wired us money when we needed it. So was no need for me to go out and get more money. And so, unfortunately, he passed away. And so there was the end of that money. And on top of it, he was a guy, when we were breaking into hotels, he was our lead into finding more money. Now, for some of you don't know, but he was from Indian Hill, and that's a high-end suburban area, so high-end neighborhood, you know, one of the wealthiest parts of Cincinnati, if not.
No, Mike,
Yeah.
it was the 11th wealthiest zip code in the United States. Old money there, old money.
Real old money. And look,
The average median income is like a $250,000 per home, and that's, you know, that's a lot.
now, and then understand, in that area, when we say 250 was the average income, you got to realize some of them people weren't working. That's just money they making a year.
Well, no. You have people that made 40,000. You have people that made, and then you guys got to also understand that when you make a lot of money, you ain't showing no money. You got to make stupid money to show money. So in other words, you can make $10 million a year, but on paper you losing money. So you got to make you got to make stupid money to show money when you own assets and own real estate.
Yeah, you got a point.
That's why we want you guys to invest in real estate, because you don't have to pay no taxes.
Oh man, now that you talk about that, let's
If you
jump.
do it right.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Hold on. Somebody asked, where do you get the book, bro? Hey, Seattle Tycoon, man. Go to FromBrokeToMillions.com. Hey, we're going to take a commercial break. No, we ain't going to take a commercial. Hey, Nate, when you need help,
What's up, bud?
when you need help with an apartment, when you need help with some investing secrets, where do you go? I'll tell you where I go. I go, hey, shut up. Shut up.
Oh, I thought it was a question.
I go to Apartment Investing Secrets Facebook group, and then I buy the book from BrokeToMillions.com.
Well, I would buy the book first, and then I would go to Apartment Investing Secrets. Me.
All right. Hey, Mike, I've been following you for a while. I'm 22-year-old realtor out of Miami. Miami, boy, I love some Miami. I know I might be reaching, but do you offer mentorships for investing in apartments?
Send an email.
I do. Yeah, no, man. Shoot me a DM, man. We'll respond to you. And look, man, I want y'all to spend money with me for real. But look, man, just buy the book, man, first, man. Let's see if this is what you want. Join our Apartment Investing Secrets, or join our Facebook group, BRRRR. You know, y'all know what that is. BRRRR. Is that right? Am I missing an R? Or is it 3 R's, 4 R's? 4 R's. B with 4 R's. Join our Facebook group, man. Yeah, I see me and Kenny Russian, me, Nate, Kenny, man, three amigos. We about to put something real big together, man. Like, me and Kenny, that's our man down in Tampa. We've been watching each other for a while, and we coming together to form like Voltron, baby. Like the Wu-Tang form like Voltron. Yeah, no, man. Somebody said old insurance money. Without a doubt, Indian Hill got that old insurance money, man. But yeah, man. One of the things that we want you to buy real estate, you know, we're talking about cash flow. Man, you get so much depreciation, and with your construction, especially with the BRRRR, if you put that BRRRR, you keep repeating. Look, even if you only buy a 20 or 30 unit once a year, right? Once a year, if you do that, man, you'll get the benefits of depreciation, and you can immediately write off with the new tax laws. You can write off some of your construction costs. Right? You can write off your construction costs. And guess what? it won't even look like a loss, right? You don't have to go like, a lot of people, let's say they make 50 or 100 grand, right? Their goal is to show that they didn't make that much money so they don't have to pay a lot in taxes, right? So let's look. I'm gonna quit using these little numbers, man, because y'all got to think big, man. All right, y'all got to start thinking big. So look, let's say you made $1 million that year, right? You made $1 million, and naturally you'd be like, oh man, I got to deal with the tax man, because the tax man potentially would take 40% of that, or 35. Is that right? It's 35, 40, whatever it is. Depending on 38%. All right, they're gonna take 38%.
No, Mike. If you are making $1 million and they taking half because you got 38, you got the state, you got the local.
Oh yeah, there you go.
50%.
There you go. So you're gonna lose. So your million really a $500,000. Now, some of you people are athletic. You wonder why some people that play athletes, they get paid, and then you be like, why they broke? Because they didn't adjust. They moving in a tax bracket. They're making $1 million, but did they really make $1 million? Did they really make $1 million? My point, man. So you need assets to help write that off, to offset those gains. And one of the things you do, you got depreciation, right? And then I told you the other one, you did construction. So immediately, I don't have the numbers in it, but let's say that immediately, if you did all these things, you potentially can have $300,000 to $400,000, maybe $500,000 between depreciation and write-offs because of construction. And so now, check this out. You made $1 million, but you had all those offsets, right? And write-offs. So now it doesn't look like you made $1 million. It only looks like you made $500,000. And now you're going to pay taxes on $500,000 instead of $1 million. And then so half of $500,000 is $250,000. So instead of paying $500,000 in taxes, you only paid $250,000. You see the importance of that? And look, if you get into hotels, oh my goodness, man, I got a K1. Nate and I got a K1. I was the happiest I've ever seen seeing a negative thing. I got a K1 for negative $793,000.
And I did too.
Guess what happened this year? I don't even know if I said this. Guess what happened this year? I got a stimulus check.
I did too, Mike. I was like, I can't take this, man. This is not right. I can't take this, man.
I got a stimulus.
And my wife was like, well, let's give it to Alex. So I give him the check, and it's like $2,400. I said, man, I can't take this, man. And then he's like, I can't cash it. I said, man, I ain't cashing that, man. That's bad. That's bad karma.
Yeah, man. Look, man. Because, and guess what? With that negative 700, I already had a whole bunch of art. So look, we did, I don't know how much, I don't know. We did, if we didn't do $1 million, we did real close to $1 million in revenue, bottom line for us. And so what happened was we had all these write-offs. But with my construction, with all the depreciation we had on other deals, and with that depreciation K1, I was able to offset my gains. So it looked like I made no money. And then on top of it, I still had enough of that I applied it back 2 years of my taxes. And they refunded me for 19 and 18, man. Oh, man. Give me one of them horns again, man. Bo. Get rid of them taxes, man. Now I got investors, man, seriously, and partners, man. They've been doing hotels for a while, man. They ain't paid federal taxes in years. Because the BRRRR moment, they repeat, like every 2 years, every 3 years, they build a new hotel and it just rolls over.
Hey, Mike.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, they keep sending me this thing asking me if I need food stamps. I promise, man. I told Matt, I was like, hey, man, how do I get him to quit sending this to me, man? I don't need no food stamps. I live in a multi-million-dollar. I don't need that, man.
Hey, man, it's the real deal, man. No, man. I mean, I don't know if to be offended or feel blessed. I don't know. Hey, I feel like old dirty bastard. You remember when the old dirty
Hey, Mike,
bastard
hold on,
got
hold on.
he
Hey,
got
Mike,
he got he got
hey, man,
food stamps. He was bragging about how he had food stamps.
Yeah.
Wu-Tang.
Hey, Mike, hold on, man.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I'm here to see about my EBT card. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, man. So look, man, just these are all the benefits of using appreciation. These are all the benefits of using your write-off. That's why you need to get real estate, man. For you doctors and lawyers that's making 200, 250, hell, even if you ain't a doctor, whatever it is, you got a business and it's making money. Buy some real estate, be a passive investor. Now, what I can't say is all of you, because you're not a real estate professional, you still have to consult. Just giving my disclaimer. These for educational purposes, but consult your legal aspect, blah, blah, blah team, you get it. But look, you can utilize some of these write-offs that we give or you'll give for a deal. Look, some people are like, man, why do I want to be a part of that? I can figure it out myself. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. But you'll make a lot of mistakes on the way. We cut all of that. Like I said, man, I got students, man, they in 3 months, 4 months, they turning the game around, man. I'm really excited for them, but I'm hating because it took me years. Oh, I think going back to, as I always share, it took me and Nate couldn't figure it out. Took us over a year. Hey, hit me up with some pictures, man. They got to see, they want to see, somebody asked for some pictures. Yeah, portrait mode. Remember portrait mode. I look good in a portrait in your 45s. Hey, for those who don't know, if you model, and all you models like that, always take your pictures in 45s. So you look good. Put it in portrait mode. Go on your iPhone, man. I don't care what you look like, man. You go to iPhone, you put it in portrait mode, you're gonna look good, baby. It'll make you look good. But always in portrait mode, all right? Oh, another thing, lick your lips. Lick your lips, okay? You don't want to be on TV like Ashy Larry, all right? Hey, when Raphael Porter had a question, when analyzing a deal, how much does the local unemployment rate affect your decision to purchase it, if at all? So when analyzing the deal, how much does the local unemployment rate affect your decision to purchase it at all? Well, you know what? I don't know if it's actually the unemployment rate, but more of the number of people employed. But it all plays a factor. I think the unemployment rate plays more of a factor when I'm doing a hotel, or if I was looking to develop a new apartment or something like that. I think that would play a role in it. But I am looking for where the jobs are. And so now to kind of jump to your question, Raphael, if the employment is steadily decreasing, then that sends up red flags, and I'll probably want to back out of that. Okay, that's when I want to back out of it. For example, Dayton, Ohio. Here's a perfect example. But this was a clear number. For example, Dayton was a big supplier, the big cars, right? And they were a big paper mill city between Middletown and Dayton, which is like 20 to 45 minutes, both of them. I wouldn't call them in our MSA, but they're in our area. And man, when the big three took their hit during the Great Recession, man, shops closed up, suppliers closed up. And man, you could buy blocks in Dayton. I mean, blocks in Dayton for $10,000, $15,000. Like Detroit saw that as well. But I ain't want to go there because there were no jobs. I was like, man, I'm gonna have a building. Literally, that area was devastated. Now, if you had enough money to buy those and sit on them, man, you'd probably be in a happy place right now. But yeah, it plays a role in what you're doing. So it does affect the purchase if there's no job growth. But if it's kind of matching up with the national average, then no, it's not so much a big deal. But if you see it, just substantially different, something's going on, and you want to know what's happening. So in essence, it could change the way you do it. in the 36 unit deal that we did it purchase contain multiple buildings? Yes. Yeah. We had 5 different buildings. I think I had 1 8-unit building and 3 12s. Oh, 3 8s. I can't
No,
remember.
Mike.
What was it? Go
They
ahead,
had
Nate.
4 8s, which was 32 units, and then it had 1 4-unit.
Okay, there you go.
And they were all contiguous. They were all contiguous on the same street. The 4-unit was all 1 bedroom. 3 of the 8 units were half 2s, half 1s, and 1 of the 8 unit was just all 1 bedrooms. But you know, it's a small deal, but we still made a lot of money off of it. You know, over $1 million. So
Nate,
you don't
I mean,
have to do big deals to make a lot of money.
yeah, well, Nate, just talk.
I had a question too, just in case.
Okay, I got
break
you.
up for this.
I got you, April. I got you. Like Nate, where I was reading early, how to find the good in the deal. And Nate actually found that deal. Like, I was like, man, I don't want to go over there. He was like, but Mike, the rents are low. He was like, Mike, there's no way rent should be at $350 for a 1 bedroom. No way. Like, rent should be at least $500. I don't care what that unit looked like. It should be $500. The 2 bedrooms should at least be $650. They only getting $425. It was simple. I mean, that was that's not an area I really want to be in. But it wasn't bad. And that's how we found the good in the deal. April, go ahead. Wonderful.
Okay. So my name is April Pradier. I am an investor in DC, where I buy and hold both residential and multifamily. I had my own construction company, and I now just subcontract.
Life is easier like that sometimes.
It is. That's the only reason why I let the actual company go, but I still do the exact same thing.
That's right.
And I'm real huge on creative financing. I love it. So you have brought up something that I don't know why I would have never thought to do. You talked about the tax component and doing either tax abatement or trying to get a reduction in your taxes. Now, for the tax abatement, for single family, I'm aware of seniors tax abatement, and I'm aware of first responders tax abatement. Now, maybe it's different state by state, but you tell me what type of tax abatement would be applicable for a multifamily.
That's right. So every county, city, township is a little different, right? But let's start with the basics. Single family. In Cincinnati, literally, I can go online or go down to the office and pull out a form, and it's a city tax abatement. I literally just fill it out. It's not complex. You just put the name, the parcel number, and the address, tell them how much you're going to put in it, and then they want to show proof, not so much what you put in it, but proof that you got the permits, and you easily are awarded the tax abatement based off of what you purchased it. And they'll give you a tax abatement anywhere from 8 to 12 years based on whether it's LEED being, green, kind of greenhouse, you got new windows, insulation, all these different things at the high standards. Now, where it gets tricky is, and then even outside the city. So Woodlawn is a part of Cincinnati. It's in our MSA. And I necessarily wouldn't call it the suburb, but it's kind of the suburb of Cincinnati, outer skirts of Cincinnati. We went to their township, and I filled out paperwork and was able to get a tax abatement there. But when I did a deal, I think was it Coleraine or Sharonville, which is another kind of like suburb of Cincinnati, but not really in the city. They didn't offer that. Now, for multifamilies and commercial inside the city, literally, now that's a longer process. They actually charge probably, I don't know, $250, $300 for an application. You got to put a pro forma. You got to show you got control of the property. You got to send a pro forma. You got to show that you can finish the project. You got to have renderings of the project or some type of pictures. Like you got to put a little thing, and it's not difficult. It's only difficult because you only did it the first time. But once you put it all together, it's all the stuff you need anyway. You submit a packet in, they review it, they ask you questions, and then they go back and forth. And if it's like any other city, it gets dragged out for 3 or 4, maybe 5, 6 months, who knows. And then it goes in front of council and they vote for it. And if you have, now typically they just vote for it as long as there's no objections in the community. And actually, I knew everybody in the community, plus I already got, what do you call it? Support. I got a letter of support for the community. But there was another project going on and people were getting my project mixed up with that project. And so my actual tax abatement almost didn't go through. And I literally had to call the council people, send them emails, and actually go back to the community and tell them. Unfortunately, I had a relationship because I was part of the community. I was some would say the mayor, but I was the president of our community, which was Coreyville, Cincinnati, which is one of 52 or 53 neighborhoods. And because of that, I knew all the different presidents and little mayors of each little community. And so that's how I got through it. So again, April, every community is different, but it's a simple call to say, hey, y'all offer tax abatements. And that's it.
Yeah. I mean, it's so funny that you bring up council members. I'm actually an ANC commissioner here in DC, and that's something that we would look at. But DC doesn't necessarily have. I don't know if they have a tax abatement process for multifamily, but it would not need to come to the community level in order to get that tax abatement here.
Okay.
But that's really, really good to know.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
No, man. I mean, you can create some incredible. I mean, here let's just do some basic numbers. When you do this, so I don't lose my calculator here. So let's say if you were to redo your taxes, right, or with the new value and they adjust it, right? Let's just use this number. You now go from 30,000 a year to 150,000 a year. So 30,000 to 150,000.
Oh, you talking multifamily?
Yeah, in value and taxes.
What multifamily you buy? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
just
what
no. You was like, so, yeah. So let's say you got, what is that, $120,000 increase in taxes. If you filed that tax abatement, you avoid paying that or that increase for 8 years. But if you got to pay that, what's 120,000 divided by a 7 cap?
1.7 million.
You just created $1.7 million in value. Are you right? Is that right?
Yeah, 120,000 like this.
Good Lord. You just created, you see the big difference of getting an abatement and disputing the taxes versus
it's so wild. So I've done it in a single family.
Yeah.
But I don't know why my creative financing side would not have thought to have done it in a multifamily as well. I'm getting ready to do it. Because I need to find out for the multifamily that I have whether or not it will qualify.
Give me now, because of that, you now owe me the difference and I'll take 10%. Okay.
No, that'd be too much. I live in DC. Look, I have a duplex, just to give you some numbers. I have a duplex.
That's right.
That I purchased for $500K, put about $50K into it. It's worth $1.2 million today. And I just bought it 3 years ago.
Man, see, y'all get on my,
make $10K a month.
Y'all get on my
and I have
nerves,
the
man.
rent for the first floor, which is a one bedroom that is no more than 700 square feet, is $2,800. DC ain't playing no games.
Hey, now somebody asked me earlier, would I do deals out of state? April is the reason me and Nate are moving to Florida. We did. I'm so mad. I'm happy, but like April, we got a good friend and partner, Daniel. We call him the lazy Asian investor. That son of a biscuit made more money. It has nowhere near the skills me and Nate have. I'm not saying that to brag. because I'm bragging on him. Man, his first 3 deals netted him over $1.5 million. 1.5 deals, his first 3 deals in less than 3 years, maybe. I don't think it went more than 5. In 3 years, $1.5 million.
Wow. Did he keep them?
No, he sold them, and every time he elevated to a new deal. He's one of our investors now. He's a partner as well. And he did that in California. And that's why, like,
Wow.
man, we figured this out. Everything's the same. It's just the commas and the depth, like, you know, it's expensive to get started, you know. That's why a lot of people, 2 reasons, not 2, but 2 of the main reasons people come to the Midwest to invest in real estate. Number 1, low barrier entry.
Right.
Right. Like, just as you explained, April, it costs $500,000 to buy a 2-family. $500,000, I bought me a 10 unit or something, right? You only got a 2-family, right? And then on top of it, now your case is a little different, but in some areas like California, New York, you can't cash flow it. Now you gain the benefits of appreciation, but you may have a negative cash flow. Like, people buy deals knowing that they're not going to make any money. It's going to be a negative cash flow for 5 or 6 years, and then they sell it. But they gain so much in appreciation. I mean, the appreciation went up, what, 5-6% a year? So after 5 years, they got a 25%, 30% gain, maybe 40% gain.
Yeah, and here in DC specifically, you got to know this is our nation's capital, and it is a worldwide hub.
That's
so,
right.
You know, we don't see depressions and recessions here. It only slaps us on the hand lightly, where everyone else is normally really, really suffering. So, you know, the point of entry here is much higher. However, you can still buy right even at that higher point of entry and cash flow tremendously. I mean, the DSCR on most of my properties is 1.4 at min, and the requirement as with the bank is 1.2. So I'm already in the green before I even get started. And most of the properties, you know, DC's an old town. That means that you're going to have to renovate most of them or do something to them. But people are homeless here and need places to live, so they're willing to live in disparate conditions in the meantime, which is terrible, but that's just the reality.
Yeah. Hey, Instagram Bossy Bree. Yeah, you can ask questions, Miss Wonderful. Please ask questions, man. That's why we're here, man. Don't hold back. Go ahead, ask your questions. April, man, thank you so much for sharing that, man. I mean, a lot of people got a lot out of that.
Don't worry.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Bossy Bree, go ahead and ask your question. Chris, man, come on, man. Ask me all these NAICS codes. Man, I don't know all them damn codes, man. You asked me that, but no, I'm just playing. Would you use for your real estate LLCs, doctors, application? I don't know that one, brother. Like, I don't really, only very rarely they ask for you know, the NAICS code. I don't know those by heart. There's so many dang codes anyway. So if you want to ask your question a little different, I can answer. But I guess what is your goal there that you're trying to find out? Robert, 1941. Is the SBA a good resource to fund buying properties? Man, people ask that every week. Yeah, man. I mean, the only reason I'm not really pushing SBA loans is because it's a guaranteed loan, right? You're gonna have to guarantee a portion. Like the first portion of the loan may be non-recourse, but you know, I think the SBA helps you get up to about 85%. In some cases, maybe 90% loan to value. So that in that capital stack, let's say your first mortgage comes in at 50%, SBA will come in and bring another 30, maybe 35, maybe 40%, depending on who you're working with, or a combination of other loans. And so with that, yes, it's a good source. The only difference is it's going to take a little long, but even when you get in these bigger deals, it does take longer anyway to get your loan. So you know, waiting 6 months is not gonna hurt you. And Chris, seriously, if you want to ask your question again, go ahead, because we got about 5 minutes left in this broadcast. Because I'm gonna have to get out of here, and I got to deal with my lawyers, and then go look at some hotel deals, baby. Because we about to buy the block or the corners or wherever else we buy all over the globe, man. Man, we found a nice one. I didn't even know in Little Rock, Arkansas. Yeah, man, it's a hotel. I can't even say the name because we got to go. But I was ready to like, I don't want to go to no Little Rock. Shit, Little Rock getting that money. I'm going where that paper is. Get that paper. Yeah. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I just answered that. I answered that. I mean, I'll make sure we got everybody. So, oh, you got some on Facebook? Okay. So yeah, man. You know, try SBA. But hey, again, for BrokeToMillions.com, thank you so much for joining this podcast. Please follow Nate and myself. You know, always, man, we're here for you. Like I said, we're just here to share information with you guys. This is Jew. I'm 40 minutes from hey, man, okay. Well, Jew, we're going to have to check you out, man. When you hit the rock, man, we coming there, man. Tip. I don't know, reservation to equity. Curon, let's see, tip to contact distressed LLC owners. What's a tip to contact distressed LLC owners? Well, yeah, to reach out. So, yeah, you want to say something? What do you got, Kenny? Hey, I'll repeat it.
Okay.
Yeah, oh, there you go. Go ahead.
Yeah, so one way, well, you kind of will go in a roundabout way, right? So one way to do that is to check, let's say, like your apartments in an area, and look for apartments that have low ratings on apartments.com. So like those rated 2 or 3 or even 1, right? So those apartments will have bad management. If you look at the interior pictures, and it's all available right there on apartments.com, then you will see that it's distressed, right? And then you go and check counter records, which LLC owns it, and then check with your Secretary of State as to who are the owners of the LLC, and then use 411.com or whitepages.com in order to find out what's the phone number of that person who owns the LLC, which owns the property. So it's a roundabout way to go about it. You have to do a little bit of digging, but you'll be able to find distressed properties and their owners and contact them.
All right, man, we got 3 minutes and I got 2 questions. So, Curon, you said something about tax office. I don't know what you mean by there, but you can ask it again. Clark Anthony, what has been the most difficult hurdle in your real estate journey? I think the most difficult was going broke. Because after that, everything was easy, man. Well, I ain't gonna say it was easy, but going broke was life-changing for me. I got evicted from my own home, house that I own. I got evicted. My cars got totaled. Then the city was fining me because the houses I own got foreclosed on, and they never transferred them out of my name. And literally, I was gaining fines, and the city was cracking down. Then I got arrested. I tell you, I ain't made for jail, baby. This body ain't made for jail. Yeah. And but it was the greatest learning curve, and I don't regret it at all. That was the biggest challenge. And so because of that, when I come into challenges, I just saying, hey, there's got to be a solution, and I just keep working until we find a solution. I had trouble raising money. I didn't quit. I just kept working at it. And then when you get tired of hitting your face and you get tired of being sick and tired, I promise you, you're either going to quit or you're going to say, finally, forget it. I'm doing it today. And that's what happened when I was trying to raise money. I was like, I'm quick of not getting this money. And so I studied a couple of people, and then immediately I knew exactly what I was looking for. And then I learned how to formulate my pitch. And once I implemented, I was closing deals left and right. So for some of you, really, that was my most difficult thing. But for some of you, your most difficult thing is maybe your first deal, because you're going to overanalyze it. Analysis paralysis. Just do it. So now, how do you feel about, and this is going to be our last one, man, we got to get out of here. How do you feel about building a multifamily from scratch, man? If you're going to build, I think now is the time to build. Why? Well, here's number one. You got C-class buildings selling at 5.5 cap rates. Man, I mean, I'm talking about in the Midwest. This ain't New York. Oh, California, baby. Nah, man, this ain't none of that, man. This like in the Midwest, they selling at 4.5 and 5 caps. Now, why is that a big deal? Because most deals, most Class A assets, they sell at 4.5 or 5 cap. So if you're gonna have to pay all that money to get a C-class asset for the same price, you might as well build. And so, that's why we're looking at developments now, but they still got to be in a prime area. I wouldn't build a new one, kind of in the hood or a C-class area unless that area is being regentrified, right? But that's it. Hey, man, look, man, this is my time. I'm sorry, I got to get out of here. My name is Mike Ely. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. And look, man, like I always say, God bless you, God keep you, and may God bless you beyond your belief, but not your capacity. And remember, you're one big deal away. And I'll see y'all next week. Peace. Yeah.